Going back to the websites, some do have exam questions. Most of them do have exam questions, some do not, like such as you got drawing quadratic curves, graphs, but there's an exam questions booklet as well. This is where it may seem unnecessary, but if you go to the gradient of light exam questions booklet, this is very, very useful. You can do these questions at the end of the day. It's the same things as the ones that came up in the exam questions. I think these two are both exactly the same thing. If you go to exam questions, if you look at the final ones, okay, it's -2, -2, 4, 8, -2, -2, 4, 8. So if you go back here and go and see the gradient of a line, so let's just go back to the last question. Is it -2, -2, 4, 8, -2, -2, 4, 8? If you want to do an exam booklet format, which will be a little bit more easier since you'll be able to write on the piece of paper and you'll be able to get some practice as an exam question, as if you're doing an exam, and you can print this out, which is very easy for you guys to do. Double-sided will be useful, so you don't have to waste some paper, but at the same time, if you're really keen on not wasting paper, then you do have the exam questions like this, where you can just literally do the questions in your book. You don't have to do it on an exam booklet, but depending on your guys' need, do you want to write on a piece of paper or do you want to write on the actual booklets where you can print? It's up to you guys. Nowadays you can now even write it on your iPad. You can download it to your iPad and as a PDF and be able to use markup or some other software to write with your interactive pen. There's a lot of useful things, but this is a way I would recommend to use Maths Genie to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. When it comes to the solutions, we got over here, the solutions are perfectly done for you guys. It tells you number 3, there's only one more question, it gives you 3, but I'm telling you guys how to use mark schemes in that video that I highly recommend. I would urge you to watch that video before you do these exam style questions. How to use, the video is called How to Use Exam Papers to Get a Grade 9 in GCSE Maths. Make sure you watch that video first before you watch this video, because it will help you get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. And look, the workout, if it's a 2-mark question, he's done the working out for you. Very nicely done for you guys. Very simply, he didn't skip any steps. Simply, he could just went from 10 minus 1 and just written 3, but he's purposely put the 9/3 for you guys to understand. So the way I tell you guys to use the mark scheme is something that I recommend in that video. I urge you guys to watch that video to a large extent. Look, it's very nicely done from the person that is running Maths Genie. This is the GCSE revision tab, and now we're just looking at the GCSE papers tab. This is the same thing when it comes back. When we look back at the GCSE revision, this is everything. Sometimes, such as the velocity time graphs, you don't need it in just the questions, because you need to use the graph itself. You have to draw, find the coordinates. You have to use you have to be able to sketch. You have to be able to do certain things. Obviously, there's not going to be exam questions in that format, but all of them are in exam questions booklet. It's not a lot of work for you guys. It's just exam questions, one booklet, one video to watch, and to do one and to mark it. And that shouldn't take you more than an hour, in my opinion. In the most it should take you should watch a video, make some notes as you watch the video, and maybe watch it 1 or 2 times depending on if you guys understand it or not. Test yourself using the exam style questions, and check out the solutions to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. And the video that I mentioned time and time again about how to use exam papers, please watch that video. That's important. Watch that video before you watch this video. After you watch this video, make sure you watch that video, and that will help you get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths, because you can make the most efficient use out of it. And speaking of exam papers, speaking of past papers, we do have the GCSE papers over here, and this is for the exams particular to the Edexcel website. This is for Edexcel itself. If you want to check out the paper that I was able to do, which I assume is the June 2018 paper. Yep, I think this is the paper that I was able to do. I do think so. I think this is foundation. Oh, maybe it was, or maybe it wasn't. If I go to the last question, I will be able to remember myself. Yes, I think this is the paper that I was able to do. The exam questions are here, and for this part in particular, if you go to the June 2018 paper and then we go to the answers, this is worked out solutions. Because sometimes it might be hard to look at the Edexcel mark scheme, but in terms of Maths Genie, he has properly done this for you guys in terms of how to work this question paper out perfectly, and get that opportunity to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. And as I said, watch that video that I mentioned about how to use exam papers to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. And when it comes to the final parts, there's also a video where you can look at the particular topic. We're going to look at a video, and he's going to teach you guys how to he will do the work out for you, and he's teaching you guys what is going through his mindset as things are going on. I remember watching these videos back in the days as well when I was studying you guys, and it was very useful to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. Ensure that you make the most out of it, ensure that you learn the most out of it, and ensure that you take the most out of it, in my opinion, and make the most out of getting a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. Overall, it's a very useful video in terms of how to use Maths Genie to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. It's something that you can use to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths very easily, and it's something that I recommend to a large extent. Make sure you use this to the best of your ability. Make sure you take the most out of this to your best of your ability. And when it comes to the websites, make sure you use it to the ways I've taught you guys to use it. Make sure you guys use it in the format that I've taught you guys, because the Maths Genie website is highly recommended. Maybe the only downside about Maths Genie is the fact that there's not enough questions. There are other websites that I recommended, the 5 best websites to use. Make sure you check those videos out as well. Even one of the websites, there are just questions. That's something that is important for GCSE Maths, something that I mentioned in the secret mentality video. So it's something that you take the most out of, make the most out of, and get the opportunity to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. And hopefully this video has been very useful in terms of how to use Maths Genie in particular to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. If you enjoyed this video, I also urge you guys to check out my next video, which is how to use Quizlet to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths.